Up $1?
No, $10.
I'll run out of money in 2 days. I arrange songs all day, every day.
All right, we have to think of something else for Khan to use as his trigger, because arranging might be. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, we welcome to We're the Ones this afternoon, Mr. Khan Cordice. Now, today is a special day. Yes, that is true. Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Khan.
Happy New Year to you too.
Wait, I haven't seen you for the year? We talk a lot for the year now, but I don't think we've seen each other.
Haven't? We're supposed to go hiking now. But
it's your fault now, you know what I mean? Yes, I ready every Saturday, you know. You know what happened?
I have to get the invite.
What?
I have to get the every time I miss hiking.
Danger flag. What?
Every time I miss hiking, I save
money.
You
save gas?
No, save money.
How?
You're saying something for me to save. So every time I miss hiking, I save money.
No, then you're going to miss plenty. No, that's not working out. But you need to get back on the track. Ladies and gentlemen, Khan, joined me on a few hikes.
Where we going Saturday?
And then he just can't leave me. I don't understand.
I didn't leave you. We went on a break.
I went on a break. I didn't go on a break.
After Mount McNeish, that was the end. I asked for a 1 week break after Mount McNeish, and that week turned into... but life really got busy. I think around that time as well, getting into different positions as well, so things started getting
hot.
A bit challenging, but exciting at the same time.
What I have to do is Saturday morning, 5:30, 6 o'clock.
Working. I remember I teach all Saturday, give back to my community.
5:30, 6 o'clock.
Mm-hmm. So I get work done in the morning. I get up. That's around
I work them times too, but
right, and then
go
to teach my classes.
Anyway, you know
10.
what? Let us not stray. Ladies and gentlemen, yes, let us do this. Khan is with us today because, no, let me confess, this is my choice. Khan is absolutely my choice. I've been doing personality profiles of persons from our community and from when I say our community, Point and Villa, and then from broader Antigua, as we look at those persons who are game changers, some quietly, some loudly, who have made invaluable contribution to the economy. Now, here is why Khan is here, although he young-ish. Khan only looks young. Khan is nearly 100 in pan years. Right, Khan, nobody can dispute that with me, I'm sorry. No. When you done, how much panoramas you done with? Just the main ones, not the other ones. Any other? You see? All right. When you're done, can't count the number of panoramas you've won. Right? It means that you've been around too long to be considered a youth. Therefore, today we are going to be discussing the life of Khan. I call it that. He has no idea with me my drama. Khan, how old are you?
I'm 29 years old.
Can you lie?
I am 29 years old.
You see what I mean? I tell you all. Okay. Khan, who are your people? Who are your parents? Where you come from?
I am a Caribbean man. I actually am from Fort Road.
Yes.
However, I am not from Fort Road, the village. I live on Fort Road, the villa side of Fort Road. So I am a villa.
Fort Road.
No, that is my address, Fort Road, St. John's, Antigua.
Yeah,
right?
the road. Let Fort Road
road
people, it means the road.
Right.
Not
so
that he is on that side of the road.
So I have to make sure that I explain that to people. They say, you're from Villa. But I grew up in Villa, grew up in Point. My yard is actually in Villa. Right? So, and it's been, we moved out. It was right on the corner of what is it, Alfred Peter Street, you call it? And I'm Fort Road.
Fort Road, yes.
No, I moved a little further up next to Straffrey. It was still on Fort Road, but it's Villa side of Fort Road. So I grew up running around Villa and Point. The only thing I've never done in Villa and Point, we used to throw eggs on people's houses. I probably shouldn't say that, right? No?
It's all right. You'll get rid of it. You're at a point in your life where we'll allow you to get rid of almost anything.
Some of the things, we would have regretted. But I don't think I never
You regret it?
That's
a part of the growing up.
But the only thing I never did in Point was jump off the wharf.
I was doing that. So you never jump off Point Wharf?
I never jump off.
So you're going to start that out before you get to it?
No, if I didn't do it before, I'm doing it now. Why not?
It's easy. It's not even, there's some shallow spots.
I'm afraid of the deep. I'm not afraid of the deep. That's not it. Oh. Since I was 5, Dad used to come. When the beach is rough, that's when my daddy just take me to the beach. But to continue saying about who I am, so I grew up there. My father is actually Vincentian, but he's been here for many, many years. I think since he was about 17, 18, somewhere around there, and has been a police officer for 30 years, 30
It's
something
the other day I
years.
know your father, Vincentian.
Yeah, my father, he's been here for a very
by
long
birth.
time. Right, Vincentian, but he's been here for a very long time.
Mhm.
Moved there after he finished from school.
Mm-hmm.
So he's Vincentian, his entire family is Vincentian. And I actually have my grandmother's surname, not my grandfather's surname. My grandfather's Alves. I would have been an Alves if they were married. But
Okay, but yeah.
Yeah, they would take the mother's name. So
So other Caribbean countries.
so I am a little bit of Vincentian. And my mother is Antiguan born. Naomi Isaac, my father Elvis Cordice, or they call him Khan as well.
Mm-hmm.
My mother Ruth Naomi Isaac.
Mm-hmm.
But I actually made a mistake. Unfortunately, she passed away in 2015,
Mm-hmm.
and I when I did the funeral announcement, foolish me put Ruth Naomi Isaac, so nobody knew who that was, and I said Naomi. They said, "Oh, Naomi." Yeah, so you know that
You
was.
decided to be prim and proper.
No, but that's her name. You know, but everybody knows as Naomi, obviously.
Exactly.
So I get plenty cuss off for that. But yes, Naomi Isaac, the lady that did their post on photo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've been fortunate to have two great parents, very driven, you know, in their various fields.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody know my mother doing chairs, doing car seats, which you know I can do as well. The only thing I can't do is so I usually do it working on my cars, working on my friends' cars every now and again. I go hustle. Yeah, but my father is
brush that off because we're coming back to that. So go ahead.
my father is a musician,
Mm-hmm.
and a police officer, inspector. I think he's inspector
Mm-hmm.
now. Yeah, so you kind of get an idea of where my music comes in. But also, as I said, the reason why I'm so driven is really because of both of my parents. They're very driven in their various fields.
So you said your parents are driven in their various fields, and you went to primary school.
Yes, I went to primary school.
No, I studied at the process. Which primary school you went to?
Villa Primary School, the best. Who's the best? VPS is always the best. You know, and that's something.
The one thing you and I are not going to argue about today is schools, because you come from all these inferior schools and the top of who's the best. But carry on, Villa Primary.
Yeah, Villa Primary, and you know, I actually spoke to the principal last week. I don't think. I mean, sorry to sort of sidetrack.
No, it's okay.
I don't think my point of Villa people are playing enough pan. So I reached out to her and tell her we need to do something about that. Just looking at like Hellsgate Steel.
To her and not to me. I am good.
So we're gonna have to do something for the community. I really want to see if we can get something done, even if it means creating a separate class for the Villa Primary School and the people in the community. I don't think they're playing enough pan. I think people are benefiting from it, which is not necessarily a problem. People from outside of the community, it's not a problem. I think it's a lovely thing that they're getting involved, but you're seeing less and less people from this area being involved in it. And
good afternoon, Kevin Watkins. How are you? Apparently, you and Ken need to have a conversation.
But we
Carry
actually
on,
spoke in brief
because he has the same view.
But I mean, I'm saying is there's a lot of things that you learn from being in that setting, and that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking necessarily financial gain,
Right.
but things as being in an organized, structured setting and learning something positive, you know, that can be useful later on. I really think, and I really hope the people from Point of Villa are listening. But it's something. I mean, I came up through it. Right, and look at where I am now.
I came up through it. I retired. My God.
Yeah. So, but yeah, in a nutshell, that is my parents. I went to Villa Primary School.
How was Villa Primary School for you?
Oh boy, it was an amazing experience because at the time we had post primary, so we sort of every now and again got to mingle. With this junior secondary, they call them post primary at the time.
Right, yes.
Well, I knew it as post primary.
Older students.
The older students, and a couple of times I get some rough up and so because I remember we used to play marble, and everybody wanted a Chris's marble. You go and get your Chrissy and your Milky and your Steely, right? And I want to buy some marbles, and I was supposed to start playing marbles with the kids if I was to go back to class school this year, but I didn't have them. But I wanted to start playing because that's something we used to do.
We have a marble competition for Easter.
Okay, I forget, but I wonder if I can still get down so low, boy. With them move, something crack. But
because you need to come hiking.
Yes,
but carry on.
Yes. We're working on that Saturday, right? So you know, we used to mingle with them. You know, people come and take up your marble and run away. I remember one time there was a teacher named Mr. Hill that beat us for playing marble, boy, because we couldn't do it. You know, it's against the rules. So when the teacher's on break, you kind of sneak in the back and find like a hole in the concrete. What we didn't know that the hole in the concrete was going to get the big holes in the road this year. But that's a different conversation. But yeah, we used to find a little hole in the concrete, and we had a lot of fun. Village school, I was actually a student that was always at the top of the class. For many years I was, I think, practically from kindergarten come right up. I was just number one in the class. Pretty much, I distinctly remember grade 5, Paulette Henry, who is now my colleague because I taught with her. She was a teacher at the time, and there's this young lady, Utisha, I can call her name, Utisha Brown. She came to Village School, and she beat me the first time. Yeah, I got real upset. I really got upset. Not necessarily with her. I mean, I like lose. I've always had a winning spirit.
But she got you to actually put in some real effort. Because I'm sure you were putting in what you want. It always takes a woman to bring out the best in you.
So, it is, I don't know if she ever, I don't think I've ever had that conversation. But I remember, because like, man, look, I coming first all this time, and look at this, So, put in extra work, no problem. Move right along. Graduated top of Village School.
You recovered your spot, clearly.
Of course. Graduated the top student in Village School, but also the top student in Zone 4. And I graduated in the top 60 as well. I don't remember the number too. So it wasn't number 1, obviously. I would have remembered that, I'm sure. But it wasn't number 60 either. I would have remembered that. It might have been 30 something or 40 something, but it was still an accomplishment for me because I always wanted to go to grammar school, even when everybody
to the wrong school.
Everybody was saying, you want to go to all-man school, and that didn't bother me because I know what I had in my mind. I wanted to be among what I considered to be the best group of people at the time, and I still think
Can't fault you. Can't fault you.
And I still think it is one of the best schools across the country.
Begrudgingly, I agree, but you know how it is. Go ahead.
So the green tie for life for my grammarians that are listening. I went to grammar school. At grammar school,
you too.
When I got to, I think, music is something that I had to do at grammar school in first and second form. I never really thought about it as a career, to be honest, for majority of grammar school, but I was acing the subject. It was easy. Everything in music just came easy. Prior to that, where music is concerned, my father really tried, but I wasn't interested. I used to suck my finger.
Really?
And he put in the guitar in my hand, because he plays guitar as well, and he put the saxophone, I take out the saxophone, put my finger in my mouth when I was younger. So I wasn't interested in music, right? When he was trying to teach me at the time.
But then, even though you weren't interested, did you absorb anything?
It was from him, honestly, battle? At the time, no. He knows that. But I know if I tell people he didn't try, I'm lying, because I remember him. And you get frustrated because he's a son, you want his son to learn to play or whatever. So, I can see the frustration, and I remember seeing the frustration on his face. But, if it's one thing I admired about him, though, it wasn't, if you're not learning it, then, you're not doing anything. It wasn't like that. It was just he was frustrated that he couldn't get me to learn it when he wanted me to learn it. But he really tried, right? So when that summer, actually the same day common entrance finished, the Liquor Man, remember Liquor Man? I'll share my whole point and Villa story. Liquor Man Pell, his son, Amilcar, and I were very good friends, and Amilcar was already playing with Hell's Gate. At the time, I really can't remember knowing about the steel pan prior to that. I might have heard of it, but I've never really been around it. So, he said, Khan, let's go down by Hell's Gate. I said, no problem. I went to home, I asked Mommy said, well, you can go, but make sure the guys from Hell's Gate bring you back up when the night is finished. Yes. I did not go down there to play any pan. I'll be very, very honest with you.
What you went to do?
It was a Limes common entrance finish, and there's nothing else to do until September. So I went down to the pan yard, and I was sitting down. And Hell's Gate fashion, is if they see you liming around the panyard, hey, I remember
make use of you.
I remember Devinson, because I used to practice inside West Ham Field here, and Devinson was there dealing with I don't know if it was a whole band or a section of the band, but he was there dealing with them, and then they were telling me, come on. I was like, no, I ain't here for that. Well,
if it was Devinson, you were doing double second.
Yeah, but he was dealing with something.
Right.
At the time, he had a more managerial role of the band, man. He was a little younger. He had more he had more patience. But he's still cool, man. Hey, Devinson, what's up?
What's this? This is such a lovely name. Fat Man, good afternoon. Carry on.
So the as they keep saying, come and say, no, I ain't here for that. And then I remember looking in the double tenor section. That's how I ended up playing double tenor. And it's nice looking young lady. She was very much older than me.
A nice looking young lady?
Yeah, but she was older than me.
Is that the pan you were supposed to be looking at?
I ain't come there to play it. It was a lie. I tell you, I didn't go there to play any pan. I did not go to the pan to play any pan. That was not my intention.
My apologies.
Right? But so, and she's like, come and play. I say, it's an opportunity to get close to the young lady, right?
Of course.
Right? I don't know what that meant. I was 12 years old.
It's all right.
Well, I wasn't even 12 yet. I was 11 going to be 12, right? And I started playing. When I started playing, my intention was, okay, it's an excuse to come to the Panyard every night. I had no intentions of playing for Panorama. Lo and behold, we went through the season, and it was me teaching everybody in the section the song. The rest, as the song came, and I ended up starting teaching Stafford the song because he was very busy, dealing with other things.
Administration. Stafford was being
because he was a captain at the time,
Stafford
but also he does welding and them kind of stuff. So when he comes in late, I would teach him the song as well, right? So I was the unconfirmed section leader, right? But I wasn't really the section leader. I was just there teaching everybody the song and whatever. Because it came easy, right? It really came easy. And I remember the night before Panorama.
Remember, ladies and gentlemen, he's 12.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Night before Panorama, I went to the dentist. My father took me to the dentist. I took out the tooth, so I got to the Panyard later. When I got to the Panyard, I see Stafford setting up two pairs of chrome double tenors. Right? So I go in the room looking for my pan. I can't find my pan. And I came back outside. I thought they dropped me, right? And Stafford said, no, this is yours. This is yours. I said, wow. What, boy? Happy play right up in front next to Stafford. Yeah, and that was actually my first experience with pan, and that's the way it took off. That first year, I remember when the count started, I blanked out. Like, the song started and finished, and I had no clue. So I looked over and Stafford, I said, Stafford, I played anything? He said, yes, you played the entire song. But you're so shocked and nervous when I like the experience. But I think that happened my first 2 years. Right now, when I'm playing, I feel like you're on there forever, to be honest. Because you're now accustomed, so you're a part of it. But then, boy, the song, you play all these complex ones. So I have a look over stuff, whether I played anything. He said, yeah, you played the entire song. You play hard. But yeah, that was me in a nutshell when it comes to that. I went to grammar school. Grammar school was fun. Grammar school was extremely fun. I'm going to tell you how fun it was. I tried to repeat third form.
Nobody.
No, I tried. Right? No, I'm going to be honest.
Nobody tries to repeat anything.
I don't think you understand how sweet grammar school was. Grammar school
I don't care how sweet it was. Nobody tries to repeat anything.
Oh boy, grammar school was fun. The Antigua Grammar School, I had a ball being at Antigua Grammar School, and I tried to repeat third form.
What happened in third form, Khan?
Here's what I did, right? No, it was just, listen, I need to get an extra year of this. That was it, right? I mean, that's me being.
But all your friends were moving to fourth form, so just go with them and enjoy the ride.
At that time, you're not thinking about that. What? You're not thinking. You think about here.
What teacher was in third form that had you going so sweet?
No. It wasn't any teachers.
Okay, so what was it about?
It was just grammar school. Listen, I can't explain to you because, yeah, grammar school was just fun. Just being there. It was just a fun experience, right? The kind of things that we were able to do at the grammar school. I don't want to say anything because, Mr. Claiborne might be listening, who was the principal while I was there.
But Mr. Claiborne would appreciate that. Excuse me. I know Mr. Claiborne was a very disciplined
things
gentleman.
Happened
but things will happen.
Nobody ever knew what happened.
That's a school thing.
But it's what I'm saying. So you want me to... I don't want to purge myself. So I'm just saying,
that happened.
There's nothing that can get locked up for. But
I know that one thing that happened.
You want to mash up my image? That's what
okay, no. Okay, then. So let us move away from the. The fun
I can't say it in this forum.
No, we're not doing fun. What about we know that you were good at music at grammar school,
but I wasn't doing it as I said that
it was just
I just did it because I had to do it. Right?
Well, yeah, we know how school is. So what about the other subjects at school?
At the time,
remember you went in as a top 60. How did you fare?
In
the midst of the fun.
The first term was tough, man. I think
and you meet all the other people.
I think I came like 11th or so.
When you meet all the other people,
right? Yeah. The first term was tough, man. Let me tell you, this is a different ball game altogether, man. I tell you. I mean, to be honest, some of the some of the colleagues that I started with in third form, Dr. Hannibal Yaziji, who's over the oncology department at, I was in class with him all my 5 years. Dr. Eli Edwards at Mount St. John. Yeah, a lot of my colleagues,
it was a good year.
Filling up some of the...
Apparently it was a good year.
It was a good year, I'm telling you. A lot of them. I mean, Callan and I, we weren't in the same class, but we were in the same year. You think he ended up, Callan Green, Side Green's son. All of us, Anson was there when I was there, but he was a year ahead of me. Some of the greatest minds that we're seeing coming up now as young people, have come out of grammar school. I'm not saying they don't come from the other schools, right? I'm not saying that they didn't come from the other schools, but I'm just saying, right? I'm just saying.
Yeah, so, fisherman never say fish thing. Carry on.
But it's facts. You're seeing it, right?
Yeah, fisherman never say fish.
And so many others. But my first year there, it was. I wouldn't say it was tough. But it was challenging, trying to be that top student. However, when I got to grammar school, my focus sort of changed because I wanted to be an accountant.
Tell him it's not streaming. Go ahead.
I wanted to be an accountant and or a doctor. When I got to fourth form, I said, you know what? Do I really want to be a doctor?
Were you doing well in the sciences?
Yeah, I wasn't bad.
Okay.
I'm generally not bad with subjects. I'm very good with numbers.
So why I didn't want to be a doctor?
It just didn't interest me. It just didn't interest me. The blood doesn't faze me. Okay. Cutting things doesn't faze me. It just
wasn't you.
It just wasn't interesting at the time. I wanted to keep music because it was like an almost sure 90-something, 100. So I kept music all the way up to fourth form. But
all up to fourth form.
Yeah, there's a reason why I'm saying that, right?
Okay.
I kept it just because it was an easy subject. I was doing accounting, business. I wanted to do business as well. So I was like, I'm going to do business, right? I started fourth form doing my sciences. I didn't like the way physics was. I didn't like the way physics was taught to me, right? And
you had mastery.
What's that?
You had mastery
as a teacher.
Yeah. No, you wouldn't. He was still at PME. He was still there.
I had King.
Who's a good King? Anthony King. Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was a good teacher, but I just didn't. His teaching style just didn't appeal to me, right? So it's not really him. It just didn't appeal to me. So I dropped physics. When I dropped physics, I kept biology and chemistry, right?
It's back up.
Right. I kept biology and chemistry. Then they told me a week later, biology and music clash. Right? Is it biology?
And music clash?
Biology and music clash.
Oh dear.
So I was like, well, the obvious option, a sure 90-something 100 versus a subject that you have to do whole ton of work.
So you're going to do
but
music?
then I was going to do the biology, right?
Okay.
But then I can't be a doctor without physics. I need all of the pure sciences. So you know what? Drop biology, drop chemistry, pick up integrated science. Right? It's a simple for me, right? So it's like focusing.
So physics is what took you out of the medical field.
Right, exactly. So then now I think though I wanted to be a doctor because it sounded good, right? It is something that everybody wants to be. But then I thought about business and I wanted to be an accountant, right? So I stuck with my accounts. At the end of fourth form, I had a conversation with my then POB teacher, and he's like, Khan, you're not doing too well in POB. You're not necessarily failing, but you don't think that I'm giving everything that I can give. And I was like, do I really want to do POB, boy? You know what? Let's drop POB, right? And then I kept with my accounts and the other subjects. I really loved French. Like I was very good at French until I saw the French paper. I was like, yeah. I was good.
What happened?
I don't know.
What happened if you saw the French? If you're good, you're good.
The French CSEC paper was difficult. It was really difficult. Really, really difficult, But, I still loved the subject. But it's right there in fourth form where I said at the time, I didn't have a music teacher, right?
Okay.
And then also in fourth form was sort of the changing point for me where music now became a big part of my life. Because that's when I got included as a part of the National Youth Band Orchestra.
Okay.
Around that same time, I used to be in cadets as well, the Army cadets. I also used to be a golfer. Yes, I used to play golf. And I used to play golf regularly. I actually just started back 2 Saturdays ago.
That is why you can't come hiking.
It's
See, I knew we had the conversation about you and this golfing thing, you know.
So
and because your day is so full, it's going to be either or.
No,
so
it's not going to be
golf
either,
left me.
no.
But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I actually bought a set of golf clubs 2 weeks ago.
So that means I need to come golfing too?
That's not a problem. But we'll do hiking in the morning and golf in the afternoon.
Right,
but I used to go to golf regular, every Saturday, every Sunday, sometimes Tuesday, Wednesday afternoons. Because I used to go with Ken Watkins.
You were good?
Yeah, I was the same year I got chosen to be a part of the National Youth Pan Orchestra. There was a potential for me to go off with somebody like Omari, Bobby last name.
Omari, is it Williams?
Is Williams the last name?
No, I don't remember.
But he's one of the nation's biggest golfers right now, young person. They were always very good.
So you see how life unfair?
We're supposed to go.
Some of us get no talent. Some of us get one talent. Some of us get half a talent, and then there's Khan.
So it was good. It was fun. We were really doing well. Myself and Ken Watkins. Unfortunately, he passed away a few years after that. But you know Ken Watkins, the father.
Yes, I do.
Right? So I ended up choosing Pan, right? And then I met Gavin Francis when he invited me.
Did Barbara give you a choice, no, Miss Mason?
To join?
No, choosing, because once Barbara holds you.
I could get you to Barbara. I won't get you to Barbara. So she invited us to the National Youth Pan Orchestra. So we went to Dominica and beat off everybody in the regional OECS panorama. Sorry if anybody feels offended, but that's exactly what happened. It happened.
Who would be offended?
No, I don't know if people from overseas are listening, right?
But this is what happened.
So we then moved. I met Barbara Mason, who's now a mother figure to me, and has been for the many years. I met Gavin Francis. He invited me to be a part. He was a captain at the time, but then he invited me to be a part of the Just Six, which you might have heard of before. And the interesting thing about Just Six for me was it was a group of young males, right? It wasn't necessarily an all-male group. I don't think that was the intention, but that's just what ended up happening, right? I went to be a part of the Just Six Steel Orchestra, and while there, starting Gavin is teaching you some things, and then Gavin started, saying, solo. He brought me in to do my first steel band arrangement that I've ever done, Lambada. I did it for Just Six, and Gavin asked me to do the song, and he was like, Khan, there's a life of music and steel pan outside of Antigua. So he introduced me to Bugsy, Robert Greenidge, Andy Narell, Liam Teague, some of the world's best.
Where did Gavin meet these people?
Gavin, at the time, Gavin had a lot of experience because through his parents and his family.
Good afternoon, Gavin. How are you?
Through his parents and his family.
We have a date.
He would have, gotten to go to things like Modes of Pan and things like that. And then he's been with the National Youth Pan Orchestra, who would have traveled before. But also, he's also very culture and steel pan loving and music loving. So he always gets involved in that kind of thing. And then, I remember him telling me he used to do some work with the now Roland Prince, who passed away, unfortunately. So, he would have worked with a lot of these talents. Gavin, at that time, too, was, if you talk about young panists, it would have been Gavin Francis and Shakia Martin, in terms of younger. So, there's this. So, he was telling me all that, and I went on YouTube and I fell in love with Bugsy. I fell in love with, I loved Robert Greenidge, right? I loved Liam Teague, I loved Andy Narell, but I fell in love with Bugsy's playing, fell in love. So what used to happen is, I remember asking everybody, how is it that Bugsy can be so good? Anytime, they used to pay Bugsy to practice when he was younger. So, he just did that for many years. But that's not necessarily the answer I was looking for, because that didn't really help me, right? Nobody paying me to practice. But, so the real question was, what did he really do to get that good? He practiced, and he practiced for many hours. So I started practicing for many hours. So what would happen? I'll tell you what my day was like on a regular weekday. If I don't, let me include.
And where were you at this time?
Fifth form into first year state college.
Right.
Go to school, obviously. Come back from school, go to National Youth Pan Orchestra practice. On some days I have played with Hell's Gate. Some days I don't. If I don't, I go home. If I have practice with Hell's Gate, I'll go to practice. When I come back, from 8, 9, 10 o'clock in the night. I'll practice until 4 or 5 in the morning.
Practice where?
At home.
So your father and your mother got your pants?
It's just my mom.
Your mom
No. I borrowed pants from either from Hellsgate or from the National Youth Pants.
Oh, you'd borrow pants?
Yeah.
Okay. And your poor mother had to put up with all this noise that she had?
Initially, the first day was fine. And then it became, because I live in a very close community.
With lots of people.
So then it got a little louder at 3 o'clock in the morning. To my surprise, right? Yeah.
You are surprised. Okay.
So then they find out how can I practice then you can use sponge on the sticks. You can use felt on the sticks. I borrowed a pair of felt sticks from Stafford, I think, or Vernon, one of the two. And I used to practice. So that way now you can hardly hear anything when you play those things.
You would hear, but your neighborhood would be safe.
No, you barely hear anything. But what happened is you don't have to hear much now because you sort of feel a vibration on each of the notes, and they each feel different. So, but you know what you're practicing. You're practicing your scales, you're practicing this. So what I used to do is I would go on YouTube and download this video of Bugsy playing. I used to do a lot of Bugsy. And I would stay and practice it until I played exactly how he played it. Right? So just go on. And at the time, my knowledge base kept expanding. What I did not know was the textbook definition of what it was.
Okay.
But because I liked formulas and I liked numbers, I like to calculate everything. So if I did a scale or some pattern, I'm going to try to put a format to it so that I can do it, in every scale, in every key and things like that. So I would keep doing that. So I'll create this sort of pattern, my self-pattern, and just keep doing it over and over in all the keys. So I'll be able to started taking lessons with Laku at Culture. And it really just took off. I started doing some arrangements for the Hell's Gate stage side. I got the opportunity to arrange for the first 25-a-side competition.
So what was it about you that you think allowed people to want you to arrange? Because it's not everybody that would get the opportunity to arrange.
I think, one of the things that I've been blessed with, and I don't know if saying this might make it sort of contradict itself, but I think I'm very humble, and sometimes I don't even think, most times I don't even think about it. It's just me. So, you're speaking to some people as always, you're trying to hear them out, you just listen to what they're saying, and they'll be saying things about you. I like when people tell me things, even if it's not what I want to hear. Mm-hmm. I get to reflect on it and see, sort of see your point of view. So I think, I've always been this very humble, very approachable person, although some people say my face itself is not approachable, but when they actually talk to me, they say, it's different. They didn't expect that, right? But usually if you see my face a kind of way, I'm actually thinking about some kind of musical pattern in my head or some kind of chord changes or whatever. So don't feel anyway, I'm very approachable.
I told somebody that once. It's like you weren't approachable. I'm like, no, he probably just thinking music.
Yeah. But I think, a lot of people like when people are respectful, respectable, approachable. Like when especially young people, when they're telling them something and the young people do it, it's magic. People then just fall in love with you. Hey, young people actually listening to me. Yeah. So they
I'm gonna pause you for 2 seconds. We have about 10 queries as to who is Bugsy.
Oh, who's Len Bugsy Sharp? Oh, sure. Len Bugsy Sharp is...
it's better you answer than me. I might
it's undoubtedly one of the world's best pannists and one of the world's leading arrangers out of Trinidad and Tobago. The work that he would have done for Steel Pan is I don't even know how to put it. He was actually here for Mojif Pans. If you weren't at Mojif Pan last year, that's the reason why you don't know who's Len Bugsy Sharp. But he's also one of the guys I look up to. He's been around for quite some time, and he would have paved the way for many of us here in Antigua and Barbuda. Also, when I talk about Trinidad and Tobago, don't think that I'm forgetting our people here, because what we would have done as well. And what the people here, the Babus, the Lakus, the Veron Henry, Stafford Josephs of Antigua and Barbuda, and what they would have done, for people like us or young people. It's the reason why our fraternity, our art form is so vibrant right now. I would have contributed to it in some small way. Some may argue in some big way, but in some small way. But, we're now getting out there. But they would have done so many, passing on their knowledge. And, I've always, every time I get the chance, I really want to thank them for doing that, you know. And I know sometimes it's a bit frustrating, you know, Stone and all the others who've been around for a very long time. I know at times it gets a bit frustrating, but I mean,
a bit.
Where
you sit now, it must be very entertaining. But we'll come to that.
Let's not. Yeah, we'll come to that. But you know, I've always tried to take the opportunity, not just here in Antigua and Barbuda, but even when I speak overseas, you know, in America, across the region, I always try to find a way to talk about them and to thank them for, you know, everything that they would have done. Because even if they don't see it, for some of them it might have been just a part of their day job. But for a lot of us, we really looked up to them as just as we looked up to a Bookji Sharp or Liam Teague. And in a lot of cases, we haven't stopped, right? So this is why I'm telling them, you know, at times they get frustrating. But, I mean, keep pushing forward because there are better things ahead, right? It's just for us to know, I mean, as we get to a certain age or a certain caliber, status, you know, we need to know, try to see how we can find ways to bring other people, you know, up. But we'll talk about that in another conversation, right? But yes, thank you, all of you. But yes, that is Len Bookji Sharp. Mm-hmm. He used to arrange for Halcyon at one point in time, I think somewhere in the 70s or so. Used to 70s, maybe 80s, 70s, somewhere around there.
Yes.
Used to arrange for the Halcyon Steel Orchestra.
One of many arguments in my house.
Right,
yes.
Yeah, so that is what it is. So, you know, I met Barbara Mason, right, who I think, just like many others, was one of the blessings in my life. You know, meeting Stafford Joseph, I think, again, another blessing in my life. Meeting Baron Henry, a blessing in my life. And it's, Barbara Mason has been a mother to me since 2006, right? She's always, remember, you can't come to town dressed like that. Anytime you're going anywhere, you have to dress presentable. And I don't know if she's listening. I know she listens to this radio station. But she's always been that person, you know. She's like, if you have to go and perform. And my mother is like that as well, right? My mother wouldn't allow me to leave to a performance or to some sort of official function dressed funny, right? She'll quicker tell me not to go, right? Because she don't want me to look shabby in public. But Miss Mason now, it's even just simple things. You know, you're coming to town to buy a pair of socks, put on proper shoes, put on long pants, put on a button-down shirt. She press
me on my shorts.
Right? So that has really stuck with me.
Good afternoon, Miss Mason.
That has actually stuck with me for many, many, many years, and I pass it on to the young people that I teach now, because it really makes a difference, right? You never know who you're going to meet. You might go there to buy the pair of socks or buy a candy at the store in town, and then you come across the Prime Minister, or you come across the ambassador to Afghanistan, or I don't know why I use Afghanistan.
China, Venezuela, right? Yeah, we get a point.
You come across them, and you just never know. It's like, hey, you know, they might have seen you somewhere before. They want to, you know, get you to perform somewhere. I played free for a very long time. I played for everybody. If you want, no problem. I'll come and play. So I used to play everywhere. Right, and at the time, money was not, and Miss Mason used to tell me that money was not really what it was. It was just sort of to get that experience, to get that exposure, and I've always been thankful for that. You know, spent a lot of years. Even now, you know, I have a performance on Saturday, and you know, but it's all the time. It's not necessarily about the money, but you know, it's
speaking
reaching
of
the
those
people.
Performances, July the 9th. You know, that's my birthday party.
Once I'm here.
I forgot, yes, you're on the birthday. Okay, never mind. I'll reschedule.
No, but it's not that. There's actually something exciting may come up. And I may have to be out of the country for a little while. Not a long time.
You know, once it's exciting for you, I'm games.
Yeah,
so,
but I think it'll be a big thing for us here in Antigua and Barbuda.
Awesome.
So we'll see what's up. And I want to see what Antigua can do to see how we can support that venture. But we'll talk about that when everything is confirmed.
No worries.
If it does, you know, but it looks positive. Anyway, so, you know, meeting Barbara Mason, she's always been a blessing, and still, you know, somebody that her criticisms, her advice, they still mean a lot to me, even up to today, right? So, you know, if she's listening again, thank you. If you check all of my interviews, these same people that I'm talking about, I talk about them because they really meant a lot to me, and they still mean a lot to me. Mean a lot to my development and to who I am as a person today. You know, something as simple as, you know, keeping your hair cut regularly, keeping your face, you know, keeping your hands clean, keeping your shoes clean, these kind of things. So, you know, all of those was taught, and that's what I liked about the program that we had at the time at Culture. And that's one of the things that I liked about steel bands and community groups and just groups in general. Once you have a positive mission, then when you go to entertain, you have to dress a certain way.
Leadership
These
matters.
are the kind of things, showing up on time and things like that.
Leadership matters.
So that is what I,
Just ignoring me, right? But go ahead.
So that's where we are. And then at the time, I always dreamt about going to university, right? I never thought it would have been for music. But then looking back, I didn't know what else it would have been for. I went to State College.
Before you went to university, well, because you said you started arranging. Did you do any major arrangements before you went off to university?
Yeah. I did the 25 side with the National Youth Pan Orchestra. I think that was the first. That was the first 25 side they had.
The one that you win.
Yeah.
The one that you teeth win.
Well,
Yeah, I'm going
to
to. Is that me?
Hey,
Is that me?
You know what's funny about that?
You know how much argument that generated that night?
I peeped the paper, right? I got to see the paper. I think it was Sly J was the announcer, and I got to peep the paper, but I saw my name at the bottom, right? Saw NYPO. But it didn't bother me because it's like I was just so excited.
You had fun,
right?
Yes. You guys were awesome, though. I remember that.
I was at the bottom, and then when they called results, it's like, somebody cheating for me, man, right? And then I got to see the paper again. They actually called it 3-2-1, so they put the one at the bottom. Young kind of. Right. So yeah, that was an experience. I remember doing that, but I've always been a big fan of arranging, of exploring creative ideas. And I still do, I always try to see how I can better myself the next time. So there's always this plan going forward. Sometimes it does get a bit overwhelming with everything else. But, I pride myself on just trying to be a better person tomorrow or the next day. That has always been me. And I think that has kept with me, over time.
I have 2 questions for you.
Sure.
Well, 3. About arrangements.
And I did National Panorama before I left as well. The first National Panorama.
One, yes. All right. You were what? How old were you?
I was 18 going to be 19.
Yeah. When you and Veron did that was the one you both did together, or that was you on your own?
Here's what. I actually did in 2008 when they did jamming. I did a small piece inside there. About 20 seconds, 30 seconds, somewhere around there in 2008. But in 2009 is when I did. Because I didn't know. Veron told me, he's going to have me arrange, right? Tell me, choose a song.
And you thought Veron was kidding.
So I thought he was just making jokes. So, all right, fine. I choose a song. I choose Party in Space. Because I like the song, Simple Melody, Boom Boom. I actually had Viv to do as well. A song I did in 2013. I was actually going to do it that year. But, it's like, this one just appealed to me, Party in Space. So I did the Party in Space. I started doing it up because I did it all the time. I was scoring on the computer. I'm going to be the devil's advocate.
You were scoring on the computer?
Yeah, I didn't.
Behave! Behave!
I didn't press the button and the arrangement come out, right? Unfortunately, contrary to popular belief, right? I didn't press the button and the arrangement.
See, I was going to say good afternoon to somebody at this point, but then it was just too obvious. But you go ahead. You go and play golf. You're going to get it on the golf course. Go ahead. Carry on.
You can ask me the process afterwards. But, I
started... Afternoon, Gavin and Zara, if y'all are listening.
I started using the... that's what I used because I did not want what I experienced as a pan player to be other people's experience when I'm the arranger.
Meaning?
I had a hard time being at the pan yard from 7 until 3 o'clock in the morning.
Reason why I stopped playing?
I've always had that issue. I mean, when I was young, it was okay because it was a line, but still I felt like it was a lot of time wasted. Right, and I don't mean to really mash anybody's gun. I understand that is just how everybody does it.
No, it doesn't need to be.
But I just found that it was just very difficult, right? And I thought one of the things that you can do to sort of organize yourself and organize your time is to be able to have the music prepared before you come to the panyard. In the panyard, we do change things. You might hear an idea, you might give it out, but at least the majority of it is more structured, right? That sort of practice session took a little while to break out. That habit took a little while to break, but it got better each year. So, I used to score. And every time I finish a section, I say, okay, Veron, go ahead. He said, okay, no, just continue. Until we got right to the end. Right on the end. And I think the part Veron put in might have been maybe about 30 seconds.
I have.
Maybe so long.
I wasn't able to do it for today.
Because it's not even the ending. Just before, when we went into the recapitulation, which when you go back into the main theme.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, yes.
Remember I used to play it.
All right, so go back into the main theme, and he just did that, and then I did the ending.
Now that I have this from you, because I have history, I interviewed Varun last year, the year before, just shortly after I started, and he told the story of how you first arranged. I was going to try and edit it to put into there, but no, I like now. I'm going to get the two of them together. But but how did you know? I understand that you said you didn't want it to be the experience, so you took a different approach. But how did you jump onto arranging on the computer already?
Because I went through the CSEC music program. Okay. And one of the persons that
you went through the what?
CSEC music.
Oh, okay.
CXC music program. And one of the persons that would have, especially at that time, been a mentor to me as well was the Marion Byron, who's the music education officer. Reason being, she did something that maybe, I guess you can say it was in her place to do, right? I don't necessarily think it was. We didn't have a music teacher up until fifth form. Marion Byron came in October, November, fifth form year.
To get you all ready for CXC.
To get us ready for CXC. So we had a Friday afternoon classes, Saturday classes. So she really went out of her way, right? One of the things that, and she may probably brag about it to her colleagues, right? So I'm giving them permission to brag about it. One of the things she would have exposed to us through CSEC music was something they call programmatic music. And that, I can honestly say, is where that sparked my creative juices. Programmatic music is when you use music to depict a story.
And you didn't. You didn't.
What's that?
You didn't press a.
No, I didn't press a button. No. So we've had this pre-written music, this and the story, and what you do in that aspect of the music subject is. You look at how the composer used musical devices, uses the melody, the harmony, and all of the different musical devices and textures and stuff to depict that story. So, there's one of them where basically we're saying there was I think it was a cattle or bull coming from a distance, a heavy bull coming from a distance, and you can actually hear the bull coming across in the music, hear the bull walking across, and what they did to do that, you have a crescendo and a decrescendo, right? So it gets loud and gets soft. Think about a car.
This is your story, right? But I'll tell you my experience with that program.
All right, okay.
I forced my son to do music.
Right, I remember.
All right. So, he did the iron band.
Okay.
He did the iron band on that program.
No, but what happened is no.
Kid was not crazy.
But this program that I'm talking about, programmatic music, it was actually something that is a part of the course. Right? It's not necessarily that part iron band. I think he might have done as an arrangement or something. One of the things. Okay. So, but I'm saying that now. A lot of different things.
Too big.
So when I got that was the most amazing thing to me at that point in time. Like, how can you use music? And that is what had interests me with creative writing for music and writing for story since 2007, which is why when I did that first panorama in 2009, I was able to capture so much of thinking about space, thinking about a shuttle. When you think about space, you took
our panorama arrangements in a totally different direction.
Right.
Let me help you.
Okay.
That's you gonna give us for the layman, us non-musical literal people.
Understood.
Right. We just know what we like. You took us in a totally different. We could actually feel like we were at a party in space.
Right. So that is what it was. And I credit, again, I can honestly say that's where it started. That is where it started in terms of the creativity in writing music. And then just from all of my predecessors, people who used to arrange before me, Veer Elms, who used to be an arranger when I was there. And he's one of them that contributed to those late night practices, because he'll come at 1 o'clock in the morning.
That's when he's finished doing whatever he's doing.
And you're there from 7:30, 8 o'clock. And what ends up, I think, coming at that time, you're going home at 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning religiously. But you're coming, at that time you're tired and you're learning music. And then what hurt? What the most annoying thing, come the next night and change it. Oh, God. So I'm stay up all night, for that. And I understand that that's a process, right? And I'm really thankful to would have experienced that, right? I am thankful to would have experienced that. However, I also believe that is the reason, and let me say this now, I also believe that is the reason why a lot of people stop playing.
I quit. I was done. When I was young, it was fun, but it's not about me. Here's another.
No, but you said that. I honestly believe I came to that because everybody that I spoke to, between 2002 and 2018, 2019, what are we in 2020? Rough life, yes. In 2020, the majority of the people that would have started with me. We're talking about thousands of people that come through Hellsgate between that period of time. Every time I talk to them, people were my age. Why you stop playing? Boy, can't deal with them late night, Jack. Late night pan.
And as we get older, we have other things we
have
need
other
to do,
responsibilities.
and pan does not allow you anything else.
That is what gave me, and that is another thing that sparked. I need to find a way to make pan practice a bit more cohesive, right? It needs to be a bit more structured. So that people can get in and get out. I mean, if you're working and you have a child and you have a significant other, and you can come 7:30 and go home by 9:30, 10 o'clock for majority. I mean, we do understand that a week of panorama, just for the sake of keeping some tradition. And I mean, it's the excitement is there, it's building, so you can do that. But for majority of the season, why are you going home at 4 o'clock? Why is it that we start practice at 7:30? And it's a pet peeve I have, right? That's why I'm talking about it.
I noticed. I know.
7:30, practice 7:30, nobody actually doing anything until 10 o'clock. And then you come at 10 o'clock and then you take a 3-hour break from 12 o'clock to... It don't make sense.
The break is so long.
We just have them long breaks, I'm telling you. We have pull file sessions and so during the breaks and so. And
yeah, of course, pull file sessions are important.
But I understand that, but I think it's a bit counterproductive. So I think to myself, some people may hit me for it. If we come in at 7:30 and we do until 9:30, 10 o'clock, the people who want to stay back online, stay back online. Practice done. You're not for work. If you want to stay until 4 o'clock, your business that. You stay there in line, no problem.
Right.
But the people want to come in and practice. You come in at 7:30, I give you half an hour to warm up, half an hour to 45 minutes to warm up, to run over your notes, to catch up. We come in and we do run the band for about 10-15 minutes, just running over. I come in and I teach some notes. I run until the practice is done. If it is a 3-hour practice, you get a little break in between. If it is a 2-hour practice, we start to do it first and we move right along. And you're saying that, and I still managed to finish a panorama tune before most of the bands in Antigua.
And win. That is annoy me. That's the thing. That's annoy me personally. But tell us now about just a summary, in summary version, your academic pursuits. Post Antigua.
Post Antigua.
Yes.
So I went off to University of the West Indies. Man, I'm telling you, I woke up the first day, because I went the evening, woke up in the morning, I felt like I was in heaven. Not because it was Trinidad. People don't do that.
I wasn't even thinking that. But go ahead.
But because it was always a dream of mine. Just getting to university, I just always wanted to do it, and I'm really thankful to the government of Antigua and Barbuda and to Barbara.
And to Barbara, I remember Barbara's sojourns with that. Yes,
for pushing that and for making that happen. I'm really thankful.
You were going come hell or high water for Barbara. Let me tell you.
I was actually supposed to go to Florida Memorial University, but that fell through. But I'm really thankful that is the part that I went. I went to the University of West Indies, and I mean, I just did what I normally do. I'm never the person to go and say, I'm going to work to get an A. I want to learn as much as I can. I go and do the best that I can, and I go through. I graduated from the University of West Indies with first class honors as a 3.9 something, or 3.86 or something like that.
GPA. That's out of 4, in case most of you don't know. Yes.
But I also I got the Beryl McBurney Prize for Best Performing Arts Student, Top Music Student. I think about 4 awards across the university. Top Creative Arts Student across the university in all of the creative arts. So I really had a great time there in Trinidad. I learned a lot, but it's also in Trinidad I met Dr. Janine Remy, who, again, I just happened to just meet these people, just blessings to my life. I mean, I met a lot of people. I met Dr. Sharma, who was, very instrumental in me learning. Because he's the one that actually told me I need to start learning to play piano. So I started doing piano classes. And so Kelly Ramlal. But Dr. Janine Remy, I ended up getting with her. I have time?
Yes.
Okay. I ended up with her by mistake. I didn't know there were 2 white ladies at the school. 2 Caucasian teachers at the school, right? So I spoke to Ramlal in the introduction, and then you have to sign up for individual lessons. I did not remember Ramlal, but I know it was some R name, and Remy looked like a Caucasian name, so I signed up on Remy. So when I went into the class with my parents, now it's an individual class, I think for half an hour to 1 hour, something like that. So you do instrumental performance, and they train you on how to develop your skills and things like that. I walked in class, I was like, you don't look like the same woman. She's like, yeah, I've never seen you before. I just came back yesterday. I said, I think I'm in the wrong class. She said, it's okay. Stay. It's okay. She said she only works with the best students. And if I don't fit, she'll just send me off, right? So I was like, oh, God, listen, we're in Trinidad, so you're the best of the best. She's like, I took her umpan, play. She's like, okay, I'll keep you. And she worked with me, and she's always, just encouraged me to, it's like, you are, the term she used the first time I played, she said, you are a child prodigy. I think that's the term she used. I think, yeah. She said, but are you a child prodigy? I think you're a child prodigy, and.
You didn't know this?
No.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I'm just doing me. I'd already.
When you left Antigua, you didn't have that impression?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Okay.
You see, the things that I look at.
The things that you did in Antigua before you left Antigua, how many persons your age group did those things?
That wasn't a cross in my mind. That was not on my mind.
Okay,
those are the things.
Carry on,
I don't focus on those things. You
just do what you have to do.
Is here, and I'm doing this. This is what I'm doing.
Okay.
So I'm not looking at, I might be the best pannist. And it's never crossed my mind.
This is not about the best pannist.
No, what I'm saying is.
This is about you're in a different.
That don't cross my mind. When I arranged for Hellsgate the first time, winning was not my goal, Winning was not. And still today, it's not the number one goal for me. Even as an arranger that I would have won 8 times. It's not my main goal.
That's why you're just one of the whole team. Because the other people make sure that you get there. Carry on.
Right, but it's not my main goal. Like when I arrange here, I just wanted to be able to live up to the caliber that Hellsgate accustomed to produce on a yearly basis. That was my goal. To sort of get the appreciation and the satisfaction of my peers and the people who were much older than me at the time. The executive. I just wanted them to appreciate and not cuss me off on the tail end. I didn't want to come last, I can tell you that. I didn't want to come last. But when they called the results, I wasn't at the pan. I was down there pushing pans like everybody else.
By the way, stick a pin there. This is important. Remember I tell you I have another job for you, right? All right. You know where that's going, right? Okay, carry on. I had to get that in. I had to get it in on here.
That was not my goal, I don't push in Panyard, and then somebody check their phone. Anik Jarvis, right? The former principal of Villa School's daughter.
Right, Miss Jarvis.
Right.
Bernadette.
Miss
Jarvis!
She said, Khan, we won. I was like, what? Nothing bad with you. And she ran off, right? And I take my stroll up to when I reach up there, but like, yo, we won, we even there. I was like, you serious with it? I was just like, I really, that was not on my mind.
Fair enough. So back to Trinidad.
Moved to Trinidad, and she was saying that you're a child prodigy, and she's like, in my first year, I met a Dr. Ann Osborne. Unfortunately, she passed away, Dr. Ann Osborne. When I went to the first of the classes, where Dr. Ann Osborne said, do you have perfect pitch? Right? I said, no. She says, but you're very good at this oral training. I was very good. It's something that, especially if you learn the way we learn in Antigua, where it's by rote first before you learn how to, actually read and write music, you tend to be very good orally with your hearing. So she's like, no, man, you're very good. You're not perfect pitch. You need to think about going to NIU in my first year. I didn't take her seriously because I'm like, I'm heaven. I wanted to go to university, and I'm at university.
You're there.
Yeah,
right.
So, then working with Dr. Remy, she's like, I'm going to make sure you get into NIU. I was like, okay, all right, no problem. What are you going through? I started working with Dr. Remy, whereas everybody was doing technical proficiency with their advisor, the teaching advisor, the instructor. I was doing less of technical proficiency on more of writing for steel pan, compositional technique, in terms of writing, right? Writing music.
Because clearly your technical was large.
Right. And then she introduced me to 4-stick playing. That's where I started playing with 4 mallets. And then she's like, this is what you can do, and boom, boom, boom. She gave me some pieces, try it out. But my first month or so with her, I kept going. We meet with them once a week, and every week I finish a song. She's like, why are you completing the song so quickly? People do 1 song every semester. Why are you completing the song so quickly? I said, but what happens at the time, I wasn't a very good sight reader. So I couldn't come in the class and read. So to avoid her, so I could read music. If you give me, I can read it.
Right.
But to be able to stand behind the pan and play it and read it at the same time, it was very difficult for me. What I was very good at was sight singing. to sing, and because you can just follow the pattern of the notes, it's a little easier. But when you're playing pan, it's actually very, very difficult. You have to think about, looking down on the note. Sometimes you can't even look down. You have to check what note it is, and note value, how you figure across your hand. There's a lot of things in there. So to avoid asking me to read a passage, I would go and learn the whole thing, right? Yeah, I'll go and learn off the entire song. 5 pages, just learn it off, right? This is grade 7, grade 8 pieces. So, and then I eventually told her, well, that was the reason. She's like, oh, you're poor on sight reading? No, we'll work on that. That is not a problem. Most people are like that at this point in their life. I was like, oh, really? Okay, all right.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, but I used to go through pieces really fast, 5 pieces, 6, sometimes up to 10 pieces a semester. Right, and you're saying most people do 1, maybe 2 pieces a semester. So I really went through them fast. But I just like playing. I like music.
So once you got the sight reading in, did you eventually slow down?
No. I still learned the pieces. Some of them, because my sight reading got to a place where I could read to the point where you would not even know that I'm reading. Because I used to practice. So what I started doing, when I got to that point, was start sight reading the pieces people would learn. And I really need to go back. But I really did a lot of work there. And so she's like, you need to go to NIU. You really need to get into this program. You need to check out Liam Teague and whatever. I was like, okay.
So you got to NIU?
I'm getting to that. So you went through. Then in my final year at UV, at the time you had to do a thesis as your final year project. You don't have to do a recital.
Okay.
Right? That's not an option. She comes to me and one of her percussion students, and she said, "Khan, I want you to do a recital, and you two can do it together." I said, "Am I going to have to do the thesis?" She says, "Yes, you still have to do the 8,000 word thesis." I said, "Okay, no problem." All right, we do the recital and we do the thesis. She said, "I need to get you need to do some original pieces." And so at the time I was working on a back toccata and fugue. She did the toccata already. So I tell her I'm going to do the fugue. She's like, it's going to be very difficult to do with 4 mallets. And I said, no problem, I'll work on it. I went back, I'll work on it. Listen, I don't regret ever playing it, but I'm not touching that piece again. The piece is hard. The piece is real hard. Let me tell you, it is real hard.
You was one.
Real hard. I mean, if you think about the hardest piece in the world on steel pan, surpassed that, right? But I mean, it was very challenging. So I did all of that to some composition. She said, we really wanted to do the recital. It's something that we want to start at the university. So you don't have to do the thesis. I don't know if they've gotten there yet, but so I did it. She said to do it. I'll do it. It's not a problem. So we did it. We put on the recital. I did not know that the head of the steel pan unit at steel pan in music at NIU was going to be there. Him and
of course, somebody else knew.
So we did the recital. Again, this is just me. If teacher said to do it, she's looking out for my best, I'll just do it, and I'll even ask any questions, right? So I did it, and when it was finished, the guy came to me, Clifford Alexis. Unfortunately, he too passed away. But he too, getting to there is definitely one of the father figures in my life as well. Meeting all these blessed people along the way, people that have been blessings to my life. He came to me after. He's like, this is an older guy, right? 70 something. He says, listen, this is in May, right? He said, listen, admission, we call it application deadline gone since March. You send in an application. I need you at NIU come September. Right? The man's like, I said, what? NIU, boy. Anyways, that's when it started getting real, and then she gave me an NIU jacket when I was leaving. I was like, whoa, yeah, like NIU.
This is no longer a hint.
Am I going to the US? I've never went to the US before. It's like, whoa. And then it's like, and then you was telling me, you have to make sure you get proper clothing because it snows. I was like, snow? I'm going up to be in the snow? What? Yeah. And
you're just seeing this as one big adventure.
Yeah. So he's like, I'm going to, they're going to give me a graduate assistantship, which meant, so they would pay for my degree. And they'll give me a small stipend, but I'd need to get some money to help with paying for travel and paying for rooms and things like that. But they're giving
There you got the lion's share.
Yeah, because you're talking about $20-something thousand US a semester or something like that for tuition, which is much bigger than at UWI. It's I think I can pay for my entire 3 years at UE plus get back change, a lot of change with that.
One semester.
But again, I must give thanks to the government of Antigua and Barbuda for giving me some assistance to get to NIU. And I say so all the time because the efforts definitely have not been in vain. I don't think so. So, which is another reason why, I ensure that I carry my Antigua and Barbuda banner very high. Because I do understand and appreciate the contributions that they would have made to my development. So we at NIU. We at NIU now, right? So I got to NIU. I didn't get to go in September. I didn't get to go in September. However, I went off in late December. Yeah, I went off in late December because I just couldn't get all the funds to deal with the what do you call it?
Housing.
No, the visa, because I get student visa.
Yes.
And then the some I-20 document from the school took a while to come, and it took a while. What's that?
Go ahead. I'm just thinking of the things that are coming back to me.
Right. So so I didn't get to go off, but luckily, because I stayed, I got a chance to play at Muzapan for the first time with Dr. Roberts. Dr. Roberts brought me on as a guest. And then, to my surprise, Liam Teague, who was going to be my professor a month later, was performing on the same show. So I got to play with, I didn't play with him on the show, but I got to, you got to hear me play. He's like, I'm looking forward to having you at NIU. And then Liam too, man. Liam Teague is such a cool guy, man. He's been, again, another blessing in my life. Man, there's so many stories. But, so we went off to NIU that Christmas. I have a quick story. I don't know how much time I have, but I have a quick story. When I got to the airport, I was like, this place is warm. All they say is winter, and put on winter jacket. I don't my NIU hoodie.
What you were given, yes.
Right, sweater. And then I'm down in the baggage claim, and I say, this is the place warm. I can take off this and go outside. The guy's like, this is Clifford Alexis. He's like, hey, put on your jacket. I say, hey, boss, man, it's cool, it's fine, this place is nice and warm. He's like,
this was when? December?
December. This was, the end of December.
And what state were you in?
In Illinois, in Chicago. Well, we landed in Chicago,
okay,
right?
Carry on.
So he's like, listen to me, right? Trust me when I tell you. I said, you're the boss, you put on your clothes. Listen, when I put on the sweater, the jacket, the winter jacket, my dad gave me a winter jacket. And when I reached by the door, right, I swear somebody boxed me with a bag of ice. I was like, why this place so cold? It's cold. At the time, I did not think that they would have put heat on inside because we're accustomed to AC here, right? I'm not thinking they're going to put heat on the inside because outside cold. I'm like, man, listen, inside the vehicle I'm freezing and the vehicle have heat inside. I'm
trying not to laugh here.
Like, and they're telling me there's this guy that came down, that drove down. He's like, Khan, there wolves around where you're staying, and he's giving me a story. And I'm like, okay, no problem, I'll just stay inside. He said, you're not scared? I said, why would I be scared? If there are wolves there and people are living, I can live too. That's just how I operate, right? So we went, he dropped me home. The next morning I woke up, I was extremely hungry because I went to the apartment that I did. I went, nobody was home. I went looking for food. I called Cliff, I said, Cliff, I need food. He said, go down the road, go straight, and you can see the highway. And he said right, but I heard left. Right? So when I reached down there now, I get the highway and I look in, boy. I said, listen, okay, I said, gas station over there. That means all the food places over there. And I walk. I found a Papa John's eventually, immediately Papa John's, 10 o'clock in the morning. I found a Papa, and when I coming back to the place that I turned left, I look down, I see McDonald's, Burger King, about 1 minute walk away. I was like, look at this, boy. Freeze off my toes, everything. I go in gas station and buy extra socks, man. But it was an experience. When I went to NIU, just to sort of close it off, when I went to NIU, again, fortunate to meet Liam T, Clifford Alexis, Yuko Asada, and many, many others, all of the grad assistants who was there with me. One of my very good friends, Josan Francis, who's another lead in the steel pan industry right now, in the US. Man, Liam Teague taught me so much. He brought me up. He's like, he really appreciate what I do. He likes me as a person, but the work that I put in, and he's the one that gave me those opportunities to go off and do some small tours around the U.S. In different cities, Philadelphia, Texas, Austin. Is Austin, Texas? It was Austin you went to, but we went to Texas.
And what was the feedback?
No, everybody loved it. I went to quite a few places. I went. Even when I came back to Antigua, it continued. It stopped because I have an issue. There's an issue getting payment when you're in the US. You can't accept payment.
Yes.
So I'm trying to sort out that.
Because you're
I want
not
to make sure,
authorized to work.
Right, I want to make sure that. So I don't know if anybody's listening and can assist me with that. But I think it's something I want to open up, for Antigua and Barbuda.
Don't you need to get a particular type of visa?
Right, a type of visa. So,
So haven't you been speaking to the embassy?
It's not that easy.
Okay, talk to Omari. Omari Banks. Omari Banks from Anguilla.
Okay.
He walked me, I'm going to be honest, he walked me through the entire process. I came back. I attempted to I didn't talk to you. Don't shoot me. And everybody's like, you're chatting rubbish. So I'm like, you know what? They just walk out my head. But I have his contacts. Because he does concerts and gets paid. I went to a few of them.
But I
have a question for you, Ken. Why are you here?
Why am I here? In Antigua?
Yes.
To be honest.
Given your international value.
To be honest. I mean, I've been asked to stay on many occasions in the US. Many occasions. By different people for different purposes. But there are two main reasons. At the time, my mom was sick, and I wanted to come back home to make sure that I could take care of her. I did come back in 2014. I wasn't finished with school, but I came back, and she got better, so I went back to finish up. And then, I came back this summer because she got sick again. But also the second reason, I feel like I have I owe a mission. I feel like I owe Antigua and Barbuda. Not necessarily because I can do it elsewhere. I can do it outside. I mean, one guy actually told me he would have contributed more to Trinidad and Tobago from being outside of Trinidad than to be there. Because he would have been able to spread Trinidadian culture, and the opportunity he would have gotten there, and the people he would have been able to reach is there. He wouldn't have been able to reach at home because of how we sort of think in the Caribbean. But I felt like I need to come back to help to develop Antigua and Barbuda musically and culturally as well, which is why one of the reasons why I came back. There's a lot of things that we can do. Yes, people see me, as a pan man, but I also have a lot of experience where culture is concerned, and I just love culture. I mean, one of the things I think they did wrong where I was concerned, I never did well in history. I think if they had replaced that with cultural history, I think majority of the young people in Antigua and Barbuda would ace it. Yes. Because it's very close to home, and it just sort of makes sense. The struggle, seeing from the struggle to the acceptance of where we are right now, I think much more of the young people would accept it. I'm not saying that we are to get rid of history, but I think we need to do a history that's a little bit closer to home. That's just my 2 cents. I don't know if anybody from education is listening. I don't know what we can do in that regard, but and I think that's one of the reasons why we struggle.
As Deputy Director of Culture? Let's see how that
I'm
works.
talking to Khan Cordice. I'm not here as deputy.
No, I'm just saying. I'm just throwing that in. We're not going to touch on that today because we're doing Khan Cordice. But I just wanted because I think we will also get a better appreciation for who we are as a people if we start looking through those. And this is my culture hat now coming in. I really think we need to do something about that. But why I'm here? I'm here to work along with everybody, whosoever is necessary, for us to continue to develop Antigua and Barbuda, not just through steel pan, not just through culture, but just generally, Antigua and Barbuda, to start to change the mindset of how we do things, because Antigua is not short of talent. Right, one of the things we're definitely short of is opportunities, and we're short of those opportunities because there's some people in certain positions who are just not looking out for us. Right, and I think, we really need to try to see what we can do to just develop ourselves, develop all of the different industries that we have here, but develop them meaningfully so they are long-lasting. So, all of that jazz. Yeah, I don't want to go on and on and on because it's something that I'm really passionate about. I'm really hoping that everybody can. I'm really hoping that people are listening that are willing to just reach out. Unfortunately, I can't do everything, and at times I do feel like I have to do everything. But I really don't want to do everything either. It's not about me, right? It's about Antigua and Barbuda. When I leave the arena, when I leave the field, when I eventually pass it, because I won't be here forever. I want Antigua to be in a better place than it is now.
than it was 10 years ago. So, which is why, I make so much efforts in reaching the young people, teaching the young people, and teaching everybody just in general, because it means a lot to me. Right, it really means a lot to me, and I'm just hoping that people are listening and understand that. I mean, that is me. That is me. Me.
And that's what I wanted to get out today, because everybody sees Khan as pan, and without appreciating how the Khan story, and a lot of us wonder, why is he here if he's so good? And I, one of the things that I wanted to get out, and you've said it, is that you've made a choice, that this is where you want to be, with all of our challenges and everything to work through. All right.
I actually got an offer last year. I got an offer. I actually got around the same time we were discussing this move to culture. I actually got an offer from another regional country, to teach the university.
No.
And I considered it at first.
You should weigh all options.
But I still didn't think that I would have done enough here
as yet.
In Antigua and Barbuda, and I really want to try to keep doing more. I mean, again, sometimes it gets tiring, because now everybody calls for everything, in all sorts of different capacities. And I mean, if they're listening, it's not the intention of I really can't do everything. And I have a family now, and expanding on the 3rd of February, somewhere between the 3rd and the 5th.
I don't think your wife would appreciate you giving us the date, but
that's fine. That's fine. So not to call me or contact me during that period of time. But I'm expanding. But yes, thanks for having me, Petra.
I am honored to have had you. You know how it is with us. But I really wanted just for you to share that. Yes, you're young. You're. When are you gonna be 30? When are we having a birthday party?
June the 26th.
Party. See, and you're
so I accept gifts. I like watches. I like cologne.
Yes, and ladies and gentlemen, you have been listening to Khan Cordice. No, seriously, you deserve every gift you get, eh?
Thanks.
All right. But ladies and gentlemen, yes. Oh, yes, he loves technology. Tell me about it. And fast cars.
And yes, and sports cars. About that. Right.
And there's one that's that looks better than his, so he wants an upgrade. I'll tell you. See, I'm working with you. And Khan will be coming hiking with me on Saturday.
Yes.
So, ladies and gentlemen, and then I'll try and go golfing with him. Yeah. So, on that note, Khan, I want to thank you very much. You've been for appearing with us in We're the Ones. And we will talk again about something else. Culture.
Yes, certainly. Culture. Listen, people get excited
Calypso.
for Culture 2020.
I want to talk Calypso with you, but it's not
excited
today.
For Culture Development Division and the work that we're going to be doing for Culture 2020.
And I'm looking forward.
Mark your dates off the entire February.
Next week.
Yes, next week we'll be here. Right, I'll try to be here as well.
I don't know if I want you back to back, but we'll see how that works.
That's fine.
I'm throwing you out now.
Just in case, because I have a little bit, I have a lot of enthusiasm where culture is concerned.
I'm throwing you out.
Black History Month is coming, people be prepared.
Goodbye. Ladies and gentlemen, and there you had Mr. Khan Cordice. Lord, I'm going to get shot. He went over time, but it was worth it.